Hello, everyone. I wanted to bring an issue and then a specific case analysis to everyone about some things going on in Harris County, Texas, and Houston Police Department in particular. Um, Apparently, there were roughly 260 some odd thousand criminal reports that had investigations that were suspended, supposedly due to lack of personnel at the Houston Police Department over an unspecified period of time. But one of the things that were obviously most concerning, there were over 4,000 sexual assault reports. These are people that actually came forward and fired complaints of sexual assaults, different types of rape and things of that nature in Houston, Texas, to the Houston Police Department. Now, I am particularly critical of the review process. You have a new mayor in Houston, but they appointed a panel of 5 people to investigate the investigators, basically. And 2 out of the 5 people happen to be attorneys that are working for the city of Houston. So obviously, there's some conflict of interest there because they're anticipating massive amounts of litigation, things like that. Of interest and of interest to us, I wanted to bring forward a case of a gentleman by the name of Cedric Deonta Mason. Cedric Deonta Mason. Mr. Mason is a 22, 23-year-old male out of Harris County, Texas. And as it turns out, at one point or the other, I think last year when he was first arrested, he was being accused of over a 13-month span of sexually assaulting 8 people. It ranges from age 17 to 30. And these were 6 women and 2 men over a 13-month period. And he ultimately was arrested. And I'm looking at his open cases right now. And there were 5 cases that were filed in November of 2021, all sexual assault, including aggravated robbery. Previously, there had been an aggravated robbery, aggravated kidnapping, and 2 other cases that were filed against him. And since that point, in August of 2023, last year, 2 more sexual assault cases, and then another 3 for at least appears to be at least a total of 10 sexual assaults. The sexual assaults vary considerably. Like I said, most of them are adults, age 17 to 30, 35. They're men, they're women, different types of different types of assaults. Now, for our purposes, we look at some of the mental health issues because I noted that Mr. Mason had written some letters to the court asking for bond and asking for other different things, which is usually a sign that there's something that's a problem, especially whenever they've already got an attorney that's supposed to be representing them. But we get down to the idea of the sexual assault and what it comes down to. There's many underlying issues. There are different types of organic brain damage and learning disability related issues where there's a lot of impulse in control inability. There are different psychiatric disorders, whether or not that be schizophrenia, people that are going through a psychotic episode, different associated with acquired or congenital brain damage. There are also specifically paraphilia, people that are sexually attracted to the danger. And this is interesting in this particular case because each one of the individuals was sexually assaulted at the point of a gun. Okay. And when you start talking about somebody that sexually assaults at the point of a gun, what we start looking at is we start looking at power and control. You look back at the lifetime of the individual. You look back at some of the challenges that they may have had, and this is their way of asserting control over people to make them do exactly what they want. And in this particular instance, this particular guy, not only did he take the people at gunpoint, he then sometimes kidnapped. restricted their movements, took them to where he wanted. That's power and control. Once he was there, he robbed them, taking their property. That's power and control. And then obviously the sexual assault is the ultimate power and control. Preparing for this video, I was kind of concerned because I thought that if I typed in and Googled Houston serial rapist, that the news would be covered with Mr. Mason, and it wasn't. In fact, I had to kind of look past quite a few other cases of serial rapes. People that were using nightclub association, buying drinks for people that were using dating apps and things like that to identify and prey upon their victims. And given the fact that under the larger social contract, our format and the framework of how this country works, we pay our taxes and we give up a little bit of our freedom in exchange for the protection of police. And that seems to be failing us. You look at issues of Uvalde and Parkland, Florida shootings, where police were actually present, but they didn't actively seek to protect people. That's not all police, don't get me wrong. And then you look at Harris County, Texas, 264,000 reports that have been uninvestigated. 4,000 sexual assaults. And while that's happening, you have people that are serial predators with obvious mental issues that are out there. And it just becomes disheartening. I'm here to talk about mental health, but as I had already described, everybody knows I'm prior military and prior federal law enforcement. Just be safe. Just be safe. Nobody's safe. And we all need to watch out for each other. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.